Hello there, traders, and welcome to the show. Today we're going to take a look at LivePerson and analyze the dip it's had in share price. We'll look at the reasons behind that shift, how it impacts our trading strategies, and why I believe just as strongly as ever in the bullish case for LivePerson. I would address the concerns though here on the big screen. Dips like that can cause concerns, and it's easy to feel anxious when you see price moving against your intended trade direction. But taking an informed analytical approach to the company at large can inform your level-headed and strategic approach to price. So let's do that today's video. Let's consider the existential threats to the company, the impact of the dip in share price today, and remind each other of the community support. If you're looking for any extra support, or you're worried about your trading strategies, or you want to top up on your technique, then the Discord community is here to help you with insights and helpful perspectives from fellow traders in the same stocks as you. So join us to discuss strategies and support each other over there. And let's maintain the optimism in the conversation. Despite that downturn, I'm very bullish. I think this is a great opportunity if your idea is you want to acquire as many shares as possible. And various ways that you might measure that. If you have all the means available, then perhaps you're looking to get somewhere around that 5% figure where you'd have to file something with the SEC and you want to keep it below there. That might be a good level. I know a number of people are looking at that sort of idea. We'll discuss that, how many shares it takes and what price that might cost you today at today's prices. And we'll take a closer look at the LivePerson chart to see what that dip has done for the technicals. So LivePerson, it competes with major players in the CRM business, customer relationship marketing, one of which is SalesForce. The ticker is CRM. Their focus is on customer engagement, and they've recently included new AI-driven messaging solutions themselves, planning to hire 1,000 new staff, and it's boosted the share price of CRM, SalesForce, that news and this plan, from 200 to over 300 billion. Critical in analysing LivePerson's financial health is their debt to equity ratio, and this is an important factor to pay attention to when you're analysing the accounts. That ratio compares the company's total debt to its shareholder equity, and obviously that changes as the price changes, and they look at managing that debt position. To help us understand this ratio, it gives you some idea, some perspective on how heavily reliant the company is on borrowed funds. So we might call it their gearing ratio. LivePerson's debt to equity ratio currently stands at quite high, 7.04. Well, that was the debt to equity ratio at the end of June, but we'll get more drilled down into the nitty gritty shortly. So debt to equity ratio quite high there, high reliance on borrowed money then, which is a little bit of a danger for any company to be reliant on borrowed funds as opposed to generating economic capital. Why does it matter in a tech business? Well, in the tech sector, there typically is a high debt to equity ratio that's typically seen as a red flag for most investors. And when the share price has been on such a strong and relentless downtrend since the highs, the all-time highs, then this debt to equity figure is going to get hit quite hard. When a tech company, or any company, but in particular a tech company, has had really high debt, then it faces higher interest payments, which can have a knock-on effect on how much it's able to reinvest in R&D and new technologies that it might be trying to employ to compete or get a greater market share. So this issue with the debt to equity ratio, I want to bring that down by pushing the debt and increasing income, building up the equity for shareholders, and then improving that overall position so that it's a more attractive investment for your traditional investor. And of course, you're not going to expect to have that hand in hand with a relentless downtrend. So this is a potentially obvious issue to focus on if you're an investor looking for that turnaround to take an impact on the fundamentals. So that reliance on debt depresses the share price of LivePerson, and investors worry that such a high level of debt could lead to a hindrance over the company's ability to be competitive. But if you looked at the guidance from the call yesterday, then you'd perhaps be quite optimistic on how the board are handling the current challenges that LivePerson faces. And we'll put it in perspective then. SalesForce and its market cap, let's go over and check it out on the charts. SalesForce, its market cap, their share price 321.95 at the close, and a market cap quite high, not to be sniffed at, $307.78 billion. There's this news story, 1,000 new staff being hired, stock price rising significantly over the past year, and that's mainly because the addressable market here in that new focus for SalesForce is huge. But there's a better company in LivePerson, and their market cap stands at 78.42 at close. Post-market prices still very volatile since prices have closed there at the trading day. So this is the LivePerson chart though, and on that 4-hour time frame you can see this channel price action going up. And the one thing we were looking for that we didn't have was 3 rising valleys. You've got these 2, and now you're possibly looking at a third one. If this thing does move to the top side, it doesn't even have to break that channel, it'll come up and test back around 230. So I'd pay attention to 2.32. So a lot of content on this channel. You might have been paying attention to recent interest in the memes. There's a number of touches on the bottom. You've got a third one now. If price moves away from this area to the top side, you'll have 3. Immediately you'd be targeting the center line of that channel. That's in at around 140. Break that, it'll be up at around 230. That fairly simple take on the LivePerson technicals, looking at a linear trend, talking about this previous low as a bottom, and it very well could be. That's my perspective on things. So LivePerson, lots of opportunity. Comparing it to other relevant companies suggests where that might go, and the market cap in comparison to CRM shows that there's an awful lot of potential there for LivePerson. SalesForce have enjoyed a much stronger position in both revenue and market confidence. LivePerson, though, despite these challenges, shows lots and lots of positive signs. In Q3 2024, they reported revenues exceeding the top side of the guidance range. That was just yesterday. They secured 44 new deals, 2 large 7-figure contracts, and they saw a 5.9, so let's round it up to 6% increase in average revenue per customer. That's fantastic. You know, you could do that, right? If I could get you guys, you know, to contribute an extra 6% to the well-being of the community here, we could do something significant, right? And that's just what LivePerson have done over the last wee while. On that note, and this community, I would maybe now propose a sort of a little investment proposal. Tell me if you find it distasteful or you think it's a good idea. It might be fun. If what we do is we sort of pool, not in any coordinated fashion. What's the best way to explain it? I've been considering an idea where audience contributions to support this show and this channel are invested in stocks, and personally I'd manage it and make sure it did well, progressed well, and gauge your comfort with the things we talk about using that measuring stick. Let me know how you feel about it. Obviously, LivePerson is the focus at the minute. So, what do you think of that take on the charts? That comparison to SalesForce, the quick, simple analysis of the positives in the earnings call, the way the board are aligned with the shareholders. I think everything's very, very positive there. Other people look for insider activity, and we've talked about that recently on the Discord there. And they're looking for insider activity. Personally, when 60% of the company is owned by retail, we are very much the significant player when it comes to this ticker. So if you're interested in seeing insider activity, how would that be framed? What's your perspective on it? Let me know that too in the comments. I personally think that insiders are being rewarded for their good work at the company, and it's about incentivizing the staff to reach those targets so that it benefits themselves, us, and LivePerson more generally. And that's another reason why I think it's positive if shareholders, ourselves, approve the employee stock purchase program, I think that's a good idea. One version of the insider activity that we might suggest is positive is Dan joining the board that's another vote at the AGM coming up. And we might look to do those sort of things. That Dan being appointed and nominated and welcomed on board from the largest shareholder. So that's sort of activity you might be looking for. He's a very dynamic, energetic young man who's going to make a big difference to the bottom line. I see a lot of positive information in the earnings call to add to what we know is really strong plans going forward, and we know what to focus on. Debt to equity ratio, get that up, very good. We can see that the average revenue per customer is growing, brilliant. We know that they outcompete SalesForce when it comes to that real particular acutely interesting opportunity in advancing this customer service role into something greater, a bigger enterprise transition model. LivePerson offer everything from the small upgrades for where you can add and bolt on various services to your current customer relationship management solution. They can help you upgrade everything from the root and branch of your entire customer relationship model. And whichever opportunity that clients go with, they're finding that they're getting greater innovative success from lower cost choosing LivePerson. They're exceeding their initial strategic goals by installing LivePerson as opposed to the competitors. And if LivePerson can keep generating these big deals, 44 signed, a couple of them over 7 figures, then that'll start building up a revenue base that'll replace all these legacy customers from the previous model, and you'll see positive impacts on the chart. So we're talking about the impact then of that 30% drop that price action went through today. Well, it was to take it back to that support level and give us a third touch on that channel. That impact then on the TA leaves us with the 3 rise and valleys should price push towards 140 again. If you've got the Rocky Outcrop flash, then you're in for a treat. There's lots of good things coming for LivePerson. So I would very much look to managing risk below 74 cents. I'd be looking for the absolute best buy in the potential of this turnaround potentially having already now come. If it hasn't been that way, then maybe you see something lower towards those targets we spoke about, 74, 64. Very, very unlikely, but if it happens, then congratulations, I'll be there buying with you. And we're targeting higher prices in at around 140 for confirmation that prices are putting in that third reversal formation to add to the harmonic resonance, the bump and run reversal, and now the 3 rise and valleys. All of that going together into a lovely start to a wow signal on the bottom of the chart. Tradespotting's patented reversal formation. So you can get that in Dr. Outcrop Y Front Dice. You can get that together on the Discord. Make sure you join there with the community and benefit from your fellow traders' perspectives. Let me know what you think of that investment proposal where I chip in all the support for the show into particular stocks and gauge your sentiment with regards to them and your own success in trading in a similar way. Give me your take on how you think LivePerson is advancing forward despite these challenges it faces and what those ratios you're looking to measure the success of the turnaround are. If you focus much on the debt to equity ratio, I know personally I don't put much emphasis on that when I'm looking at the technicals. And tell me if you are new or old to this particular ticker. Is it the first time you've heard about it recently? Let me know in the comments below. Be happy to hear from you. And that's our take on LivePerson. Despite the bit of the impact on price, this is what we think with regards to the long-term opportunity. That's the fundamentals, a little bit more illustration and colour from the earnings call. And hopefully you found that useful. If you did, hit the like button and let me know about those questions. Thanks very much. See you in the next one, which will be very, very soon. Sooner than you think. Oh, that reminds me.